All right. Welcome, everyone. We just always like to start with that medical disclaimer. Uh, just helpful to know. And also just a joyful welcome to you for being here today on this global healing call. My name is Dr. Clint G. Rogers. I'm the author of the book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, a Western skeptic, an Eastern master, and life's greatest secrets. So much gratitude to Dr. Ram, this powerful teacher who was patient and loving with me, even through all kinds of crazy. Man, even when I look back on how much my life has changed in the 15 years of this journey, and seeing all the different translations that have happened. I'm holding in my book the Malayalam translation that was so fun to see. It's my first time that I've actually been flipping through the book. I got it in Ashland for the first time, and all the languages that now this book and this message of hope, of healing, of possibility is reaching. These global healing calls is really a place for authentic conversation, for inspiring stories, and for discovering ancient secrets. What if you discover even one ancient secret that can change your life forever? I do know that a lot of the calls, there's ancient secrets that are shared, and the application of those ancient secrets in a way that, Dr. Ram, he would always say that. Here, I can just get a better picture of him so I can just show it. He had a fun quote. He would say that knowing is not doing. Doing is doing. He said if knowing was doing, then no one would get married. Everyone would just read a book about it. It's so funny how he would share that. So doing is doing. But he said there's a knowing that if you know something, it's good, but doing is doing. And so by knowing the ancient secrets, it doesn't mean that we're going to do them. But on these calls, it's really powerful because even I know, because as a skeptic, first of all skeptics are welcome to these calls. And everyone who's new on the call, actually, I just want to welcome you. Everyone who's been on the calls and come back, I want to welcome you. So before I talk about that quote from Dr. Ram, I just want to see if anyone's new on this call for the first time, either watching on Facebook Live for the first time or here on Zoom. I just want you to go ahead and put in the chat. I don't know if you're familiar with Zoom, but in the chat, you can just say, I'm new. And then we can welcome you properly. I just want to welcome you properly. And if anyone's been just away for a little bit of time and you're back in these calls, I just want you to just say, I'm back in the chat. We want to welcome you with love. There's some new faces that I recognize. Geraldine, am I saying your name right? So beautiful. I don't know if you were able to come off of mute, but I just want to hear your voice and curious how you discovered this call. Here, just 1 second. You're on mute. Let me see if I can unmute you here. Maybe someone else can help me too if I'm not able to do it. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Am I on mute?
Yeah, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I went to the NAMA conference and I had met Dr. Krishna and the group, and then I got connected up with the book and then I got the email. So it was an invitation. So thank you very much.
Oh, so awesome. Are you an Ayurvedic practitioner?
I am.
Wow, so awesome. Oh, so
I
beautiful.
really haven't developed the practice yet, just kind of moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what an awesome thing you came into this space. I'm going to introduce you real quick to Katie. Katie, can you unmute yourself? I don't know if you know how to see if there's a way to do it.
See, I don't know. I don't have that button. I don't know why.
Oh, no problem. It may be in the settings. Oh, here, I can unmute Katie. There we go.
Oh, good. My screen. So welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Hi, Katie.
And I don't know why there's an echo. Something is going on with my Zoom and my iPad. My screen is frozen. I can't get to the chat.
Oh, no problem. No problem. So what we're doing is we just want to make sure, because now we know Katie, we just want to make sure everyone who's new on the call is that you're welcome, first of all, Geraldine. And then also if you have any questions about any kind of resources or support that's there. And so just awesome that you're here. So
Great.
someone will message you in the chat and then we'll figure out how to go from there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So good. And then Chris. Oh my goodness, Chris. Fantastic. I don't know if you feel comfortable coming off of on mute, off mute. I don't know if there's enough.
Hello.
Oh, good. Awesome. So good to
Thank
see you
you.
both.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So awesome. Tell me who, I want to remember the name of the beautiful person next to you. Oh, Chris. Who's next to
Yes,
you?
hello. Oh, this
Yeah,
is Rita. Yeah.
Rita. Okay. Awesome. I've seen you
I
in many
can,
of the calls, but I just wanted to welcome you as well.
Can you check the Facebook? Somebody says the Facebook is down, the Facebook live.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm showing that it's going on all sides, so not sure what's happening.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We'll figure it out. Thank you so much. I want to welcome RZ and anyone else that's new. Noemi, so good to see you. Ah,
Nice to see you too. Hello from
ah,
Mexico.
amazing. So awesome. And Clarice, so good to see you. Sophia, so good. Everyone who's joining, either you're new and welcome back. I see Savan, are such a good example of today's theme for the call. So we're doing a new kind of model for these global healing calls, where it's a little bit more of an open discussion. We take one quote from the book, and then it's an open discussion about how the ancient secrets applied this week to your life, and specifically that quote, if you have something about it. The quote for today is on it's actually the opening quote on chapter 15 of the book on page 221. Just this beautiful quote from someone who would work with Dr. Ram a lot, Saint Mother Teresa. And the quote says this: "It's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts." I'm just going to read that again because it's so powerful. It's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. Now, that we could talk about that for like a long time, and especially with people on this call, because you're so much living that. Tara, the way that you guide all the translation stuff, and everyone. So, I mean, Jane, I want to acknowledge all the calls that she's hosted and how much love she's put into it, and the whole team behind it, and the whole team supporting today. And Dr. Ram, how much love he put into every single person. He's seen sometimes 300 people a day, and he put so much love into the last person, they felt like they're the first, with that much energy. So as we're thinking about this quote, and as we're feeling about the ancient secrets, and as we're opening ourselves up to authentic conversation, to inspiring stories, and to discovering ancient secrets that can change our life forever, I just want to start by dropping into silence. And even if it's for just 1 minute of silence, just thinking about, this quote and all the times in which either we've done something and we know we did it with a lot of love, or when we could feel it happening from someone else to us. And so I just invite you, as we're starting off this global healing call, just to close your eyes, just to feel your heart beating. If you're in a place you can close your eyes, obviously, if you're not driving. So just take a deep breath in, let out a sigh. Ah, just feeling the ground underneath you. Just feeling that right now in this moment, you're safe. So safe. And that you're in this call to receive love and receive healing. 1 minute of silence starting now. As the minute has passed, I just invite you to take a deep breath in, another sigh. Ah. So good to be with you. So good to be present with you. I don't know, of all the places you could be this morning, you could be sleeping in, be on a hike in nature, you could be with kids or grandkids, or with us now, and there's a reason you're here. The opening quote in the book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, says, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. And I believe that whatever guided you to this call today, that it won't be necessarily anything that anyone says, not what I say, not what comes from the book, but it's like love this is a container in which love can teach you directly. That can make all the rest of your life better. And the quote that we have today, a really beautiful quote to kind of reflect on in thinking about the ancient secrets, is this one from Saint Mother Teresa on page 221. It's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. And I know that anytime that I'm traveling the world for the Pulse clinics or for the different events that I speak at, and I'm so excited whenever anyone has Hmong soup for me, all over the world now. It's like I could go to any country and there's always Hmong soup. And when I eat it, I can just tell that people have made it with so much love. We have the guided detox coming up for anyone who's interested in joining the guided detox on July 21st, the 7-day or 30-day. It's not even about what food you put here, but it's about what food you feed here. And even when you're making the soup or anything you do, you're feeding that vibration inside of you. Like, it's not about what you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts, whether it's chopping vegetables, cleaning the toilet. Yeah. We just completed not only the 100-day in English, but also the 100-day in Italian. And it was so fun to be on the celebration call, and how many people talked about there's a challenge activity in there where people have to clean the toilet, and even how much memorable that is, but how much love you put into that. And Dr. Ram taught me that. Sophia, she says, yeah, we had so much fun. So glad you joined the 100-day course in Italian. So I just want to open it up, actually, just for a few people to share. When you hear that quote, and also you can be thinking about, anyone can be thinking about, how did I apply the ancient secrets? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about that quote, but how did I apply some of the ancient secrets this week in a way that I could tell them, wow, I felt good, or my life changed in some kind of a way that was better. Some kind of a story that you could share that, could inspire us. So first of all, let's go with the quote. And if anyone's thinking about ancient secrets, this quote, I didn't, it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. Maybe in the chat, just to start off, if you've ever felt anyone put a lot of love into something, and maybe not even that big of a thing, but they put a lot of love into something that touched your life, if you could just put the name of that person in the chat. I just want to bring in the energy of all the people, and I get emotional, but I definitely want to put my mom's name in here. Man, she's such a living example of this for me. I see a lot of people put their moms. Suzanne, so beautiful. Alex, Gloria, so beautiful. Also Sienna, your mommy. Ariana, Sakra, your best friend, sister. Jana, Doug, Mindy, Madeline, Robin, Deborah Ann. Put so much love into just looking at you. That's such true. The presence. Oh, Judy, Dr. Clint, Clarice, husband, Teresa, my best friend. Lynn. Oh, go ahead. You have something you want to share?
No, I said hi.
Oh, so good to see you. I'm so happy that you're here.
Did you? Oh, you figured out how to unmute. Oh my.
Yeah. Remind me your name. I just want to remember your name.
Karina.
Karina. Yes, Karina. Karina, when you think about this quote, it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. Is there a time that you felt that from someone? That you felt someone put a lot of love into something for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell me about that?
The food that Nana makes.
Yeah. That's your Nana behind you, right, Anne?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hi.
Yeah. She puts a lot of love into the food she makes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. How do you know she puts love into it?
Because I can taste it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And Anne, for you, any moment in your life where you especially felt either that you could tell that you did something and you put a lot of love into it, or someone did something like that for you?
Well, that's kind of funny because it's my grandmother. I was just saying the other day to her, I miss my grandmother, and she said, why? And I said, you could just like go to her house and like if you lay down flat on the couch, she knew you needed like pastina soup, something like that. And if you sat up and you were really excited and you had stuff to tell her, then she would make a cup of tea. And then, just neat things like just ways to show you that she loved you and that she gave you that attention. But also I've noticed that sometimes the chores on the farm, and even with the kids, like you're like, I wash the same towels over and over again. I just washed these shorts. I swear I just folded them, like and you can either see it super like mundane, or you can find a way to make it with love and doing it. Like I'll think, I'm doing it for them. I remember what they did when they were in the shorts. We were in the creek. Or like if I just throw that little element to it, all of a sudden it makes it fun versus a chore. I can flip it just with a little tiny thought of my mind of something that has to do with love, with that pair of pants or that towel or what I'm cooking. And especially like if you cook something really good and they said they don't want it, and then they order something different and you're like, oh, and then somehow I have to muster up, that and say, no, I love them so much. In our day, you had to eat what they made, but anyway.
I'm watching you, Bingo.
What's that, Crane? Karina?
There's a horse looking at us through the door because we didn't feed them yet.
Oh,
And
that's so
so
funny.
he's
Now you're
trying to
talking
make
about
his
food, even the
presence.
horses are coming.
Yes, yes, yes. They're like, how much do you love us? You made us wait this long. But they had hay and they've got their horse troughs cleaned and everything. So they know they're loved. But he just wants to make sure we don't forget.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Corinne. I'm so glad you unmuted yourself, and Anne for sharing that. And it's really powerful. I think all of us have had that kind of an experience where, like one of the moments I was thinking of, even as you shared it, I was in Africa and I was in Uganda. And I remember one of my friends took me to this little place called Jinja, and I was feeling a little bit out of place. And I remember I saw this grocery store called the American Grocery Store, you know, and I was like, "Whoa, American Grocery Store!" So I went in, and I'm so happy I found peanut M&Ms. Definitely not a Dr. Nam approved treat, but it was like a comfort food. I was like, "Oh, peanut M&Ms," and I remember coming out, and I was eating them. I was so happy I had peanut M&Ms, and I gave one to the guard. They had guards at the doors that had these big guns, and I was like, I felt a little intimidated by this guard. So I thought, why don't I give him a peanut M&M? So I did. He was super happy, and then I saw this cute little street kid, and I gave him a peanut M&M, and then I remember all of a sudden being surrounded by like 20, 30 kids, and they're all pushing me, trying to get something, and my friend who was with me from Uganda walked away and just kind of threw his hands up in the air, and he's like shook his head like, oh, and then walked away. And then I counted quickly in the bag. There was only 7 M&Ms, and there's like 30 kids, and I feel so ashamed of what I did in that moment. I threw the bag up away from me, and so they all ran after the bag, and then I got out of there as quick as I can. And I remember for the whole next day, I just felt so uncomfortable. I felt so disturbed, and I thought for sure the big kids were just going to take it, and no one else was going to get anything. And I was like, why couldn't I have just gone in the store, got more or something? I was so disturbed. And then I came out of the store, and I remember that night when I woke up, I remembered the story that Dr. Ram shared, and he talked about when he's learning from his master about the ancient secrets and on his 1,000-day training, and one of his first assignments was helping these street kids in Mumbai, and he said he went and used all the ancient secrets he could. He took their pulse, he found out the imbalance, and he started giving them the remedies that his master taught him, and it wasn't working. Actually, it wasn't working, and he felt like frustrated. And he went back to his master. He says, "I'm giving the remedies perfectly, like you shared, but it's not working." And his master says, "Well, why not learn more about them?" You know. And I wasn't planning on sharing this story, but it fits so perfectly. And if it's not about what you do, how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. There's actually a really specific reason why this quote can increase significantly the amount of healing in your own life and in your family and those you care about if you remember this. there's knowing, there's doing, like I said, and then Dr. Ram said there's being. And the beingness, the vibration of who you are and how much love you put into what you do has a direct impact on even the home remedies that you put in your own mouth or that you give to people or the marmas that you do or just the kind words or the conversations that are so healing. You know, sometimes just asking people a question, what do you want, has a really powerful healing effect. So in this story, Dr. Ram is a very ambitious young man trying to prove himself, actually, getting kicked out of his home when he was young and trying to prove himself. Was just so devastated that he felt like he was learning and then it didn't work on the first people he tried. His master said something really powerful, actually, here. I'll show, actually, this is a young Dr. Ram with his teacher. And then the ultimate lineage, master lineage, Jivaka. So a lot of this ancient wisdom comes from him and is recorded on the manuscripts and then passed down master to student in this unbroken lineage. So the thing that Dr. Ram's master told him was, why don't you learn more about them? Okay, so this story has a lot of secrets in it. I wasn't planning on sharing this one, but think about any time you have a disagreement, frustration, or something doesn't work in your life. You know, what is the mind chatter that's going on inside of you? And what if instead of being frustrated, we say, why don't I become more curious? You know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something, actually. Wow, I'm really annoyed by this person, by what they're doing. What if I'm just missing something? What if they're doing something for a reason that I could learn from, you know? What if we just become a little more curious, you know? And then we put a little bit of love into our curiosity. I see a bunch of nods. So beautiful. So Dr. Ram, he actually went and found out more about these kids, learned where they were from. I found out that there was, in the story in the book, but found out there's a chemical factory that didn't want to buy the machinery to mix the chemicals, so instead would hire these little street kids to swim around in the vats of chemicals. And it's really hard to even imagine that situation. And so Dr. Ram talked to his master, and because he had put so much love into learning more about these kids, they actually took out of the formulas, the ancient formulas, those that could help remove heavy metals from the body. What plants naturally help remove these toxins from the body? And saw these kids get better. And then, you know, much later when 9/11 happened, he was able to help so many thousands of the 9/11 firefighters, first responders, because he had loved those kids, put a lot of love into helping those kids. And now so many people have benefited from those formulas. Now, when I was in Africa, and I remember that story, I thought, man, I should learn more about these kids. And so the very next day, I didn't bring my friend from Uganda because I knew he was a little bit embarrassed about being with me. But I went there with different clothes, everything, and I tried to find those kids. Finally, I found one of them. I realized they didn't even speak the local language. They came from a northern tribe that was really suffering, and so they were, you know, coming and living in a rural area. And I went to their home, and it was like a 45-minute walk along the railroad track until I walked past this really gross smelling thing, and I saw such things that were really hard. And I remember I found some of the kids, and as I was walking with them, I realized they didn't recognize who I was. And I said, "Do you remember a guy that came the other day, and he was in front of this store, and he had these M&Ms?" And I just said, "What happened with them?" And I just assumed the big kids took them, and they said this. They said, "The big kids grabbed the bag, and then they counted how many of us there were, and then they bit the M&Ms into enough pieces so each of us had one." And that's just like, wow, it's so amazing. Yeah, it's like all my judgments about humanity was kind of shattered in that moment, and I realized, why I can do whatever I do. I may not have a lot, but I can do it with love. You know, same thing happened with the orphan kids in Nepal that we support through Ancient Secrets Foundation, and I'll tell that story maybe towards the end of the call. But there's, as long as we're living and breathing, there's things that we can do with love. You know, you could say I don't have money. Okay, no problem. Money is an imaginary thing invented by humans. You have something way better. You know, you have your hands, you have your heart, you have your intention. I see some hands raised. I want to hear stories. Ariana first. That's amazing. I was going to call you earlier. I don't know if you can unmute yourself or you need someone to unmute you.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful story, Clint. Yeah, I had my birthday on Friday, and I ended up going out to lunch with
Happy
just
birthday!
thank you, my very dearest of friends, just that I've known forever, and you know, and it was so beautiful. What I get about love is love is something about love in the present. It's like when you're putting out love, you're totally present. And when you're totally present, you're putting out love. It kind of has this synchronous way of being. And so it was so beautiful. We were in this beautiful little restaurant, by a pond where there's this little mill and there was water noises and flowers everywhere. And it was like, oh my God. But the beauty of it was each person stopped and it would give their sharing of just our relationship and just the love they had and acknowledge the beautiful things they saw in me. And it was deep and it was like so filled with love. And then, and then I would reciprocate. And I don't think I've ever had such a beautiful time with people that were, we were all present and it was just in front of all the other people and we're just looking at each other and being with each other. And the love was just oozing from the table, and it was for me, it was so meaningful and it was just the most beautiful experience. And so it was loved having an open heart, loved being authentic, loved being sharing, loved being just so present in the moment with a person, each moment with that person, and so appreciating them for who they are. So yeah, that was
So
my,
beautiful.
that's what, yeah, love was guiding me. Thank you.
So powerful. And what I love, so many things I love about that, Ariana, but something any of us can do. Actually, and something that's surprisingly challenging is just to be present. Sometimes it's like we have to really remind ourselves. But in this moment, for anyone else whose birthday, you could just put it in the chat. We want to celebrate you for being on this planet.
Oh,
And then if we could put our hands together like this, and just say, I love you. I'm with
I
you.
love you. I'm with you.
You and I am with you.
So good. Even your sharing, did anyone notice how you did this even with that much more presence? Really
Yeah.
powerful story. So cool. Kazi, I see you have your raised. And if anyone doesn't know how to do it inside of Zoom, you can actually click a button that raises a hand. So we just see that you have something you want to share. Kazi, so good to see you.
Hola familia, so happy to see everyone here. What I wanted to share was, as we were sharing before, about the mundane. And one of the things that I feel that I discovered a lot of beauty and magic in space of my daily activities was actually understanding that the separation is only a thing in the mind. Like there is no, like right now we are here, we are fully nourishing in this moment, our souls, our hearts, sharing, exchanging. But as soon as we go to the kitchen to wash the dishes, to do the clothes, we are doing the mundane. And what I perceive is that if I live my life as this sacred ceremony, from the moment I wake up to the moment I leave, these daily tasks on your sacred roles are just part of it. Like when you're cooking, you're told, if you are present, all these flow moments that you bring the presence to the cooking, to the washing, to the working, whatever it is. So for sure, it's softening the space in between where we create, oh, I'm going to be here now just doing because I have to get things done. But you're like, wow, I get to do this too, and be in the presence of God, and be in spirit, and sing, and put my prayers in this moment, like, so for me, that has brought a lot of more magic, more subtleness to see where I can also contribute and exchange and receive from what's present. So that's all I wanted to share. I love everyone.
Obrigado. So beautiful sharing. I love that because sometimes we think about this quote, it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. We think about what we're doing for others, but also it's so much what we're doing for ourselves. Even if you're combing your hair or putting your clothes on and just loving yourself, like every day we can do things that nourish ourselves. And I see in the chat also the comment from you, Linda, about your birthday's coming up and man, being in that place where sometimes you don't know if you belong on this planet. And I think, I don't know, just Linda, just so you don't feel alone, has anyone ever felt that feeling where you're like, I'm not sure if I belong? So like almost every one of us, Linda, has had one of those moments. And so that's why it's so important that what we feed ourselves here, instead of saying I don't belong and shutting it down, just actually starting to find little moments. You can pour a lot of love into what you're doing, like with a daily routine. What Grazi said. One thing that I've been doing lately, actually, I come out, I this is a little bit personal, but I realized I had a little bit of addiction to my phone. Anyone else have that challenge? And so I have this rule where I cannot look at my phone. I can't turn unless the alarm comes off. I turn off the alarm, but until I put my bare feet on the grass. And so I got to put my feet on the grass and then do something like that before I ever touch technology. And I find that really helps me actually. And as I'm putting it, it's like something I do with love for myself. It's simple, except for when it's super cold, but I still do it. you know, and I do it when I travel. But the tricky thing, I was in Austin, Texas for a beautiful event, but it was hard to find actual grass. So then I just put my feet on the dirt or imagine grass. Beautiful. Thank you, Grazi, so much. And Linda, we'll come back to you, but just sending, actually, let's put our hands together for Grazi and for Linda and for everyone who's in a situation where you just want to pour more love into yourself. See you, I honor you, I love you, and I'm with you. Oh, so good. All right, beautiful. All right, Chris and Rita, I see you have your hands up. And then Noemi and then Shifra, I see you have your hands up. So we'll go in that order. Chris and I don't know if you're raising your hand because of oh, just let's
Yeah.
oh, there we go.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to share some things about my life with the Engmans, Joseph and Susan. I met them back in 2009, and we spent a lot of time together. I've lived in their home, and when I was homeless, Joseph and Susan invited me into their home where I've spent a lot of time prior to that working on different projects with them. But one of the most memorable stories I remember working with Joseph on a growth stick that he was building for his daughter and her partner and their first child. And he has his own wood shop downstairs, and I was working upstairs in the garage on one of the projects for them. And he called me down to his wood shop and asked for my help. And first off, I went down there and I said he was doing it all wrong. He made this board out of maple, but he was making it out of two pieces instead of one. And so I helped him hide the butt joint between the two boards by taking a razor blade and cutting slivers with the grain through the maple to make the butt seam of the maple disappear, and make it look like it was one board. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, Joseph? I could have been a surgeon too. And he said, yeah, you could have. My dad was a doctor as well, but we've always enjoyed working on projects together, and the projects I've done for them, I've always enjoyed consulting with them and getting their opinion throughout the project to make sure that I'm able to deliver something above and beyond what they were dreaming or hoping for. And I know that you know, even without me not being there, they're able to see me everywhere in their home.
We love you, Chris. We're here for you, and you know that. And you're a very, very gifted, special man, and you deserve all good things in your life. Yeah.
I have a story. I'm sorry, I have to share. So I work with 2 to 3 year olds, and it's at that age where I go every day, and there's a boundary between teachers and parents, but I go every day. I love all of my kids. The most I have is 20. And I work with I don't do 20 kids by myself, but I have other teachers. But I go every day. I love each one of these kids every day. So at the start of my day, this is like my passion. I wake up and I'm like, I go to love these kids. And I just wanted to share that because I think this world needs adults loving these kids every day. It's really hard as a parent to trust another adult 8 hours sometimes, just with their kids. And I feel like every day when I wake up and I go, and when I first started the job, I had a hard time expressing to the adults. Like, I'm telling you, kids, I love them. Like, I tell them every day. Oh, I
Yeah.
love you guys. Like, you guys, like, when I greet them, oh, how was your day? I missed you. I love you. And, like, I'm telling these kids and I'm bringing my love to them and I'm encouraging them and I'm showing them, I'm saying you're beautiful. And I'm just like giving my all every minute of the day to these kids. When I'm diaper changing, when I'm
Mm.
potty training, I'm talking, I'm talking every minute of the day. And the love that I get is when they talk back to me, because sometimes they start off with 2 words. And at the end of the year, they're 5 word sentences. And it's just like, I receive love from them every day by them accepting me and them accepting my love, but then them also like receiving my love. And like, affection is really important, and like just loving to learn at that age through play, because the society, man, in this world, they want to do structures, and I mean social skills. And I'm in this class right now about brain development. Nurturing is very important for the brain at this age. Nurturing doesn't come without love. So
Mm.
every day I wake up, Monday through Friday, even on the weekends, I'm like, what am I going to do this week? Because I am just, it's sometimes like in my faith, there's, gifts and talents and passions in what God gives you as a person. And God, I feel like since I was very young, had a love for children, had the
Yeah.
patience for children, and now I'm like living this job to where I can just give that to them every single day. And I finally like spoke up to adults and the parents, and I love your kids, and
Oh.
I'm not going to create this boundary of like, all the jealousy, but I want you to know that I love your kids. I go every day with love for your kids, and it's so powerful at the end of the day. You just think about it, and there's times at the end of the day where I'm just like, oh, that was just a beautiful moment. This kid just opened up to me. I had this one kid that was so fearful of sand, and my
Yeah.
my, my place is called the sandbox. It's just sand. I worked with this kid. This kid now takes off his shoes. We have water play. He takes off his shoes and he plays in the mud with the dry sand and the wet sand. And the parents are just like, that is love. You broke
Mm.
that, like you changed that fear into something that's amazing for my kid. And I do little stuff like that every day, like with kids that can't talk or having a hard time, where at the end of the year, they're not at 4 sentences, they're at 2 words still. And I'm constantly doing that. I just had to share that moment with
I
you.
love it. It's so awesome. Anyone else can feel her love. It just poured so powerfully into those kids. I just thought I'd put my hands together, Rita, for you, for all those beautiful kids, and Chris for what you shared about Joseph and Susan. Man, wow, so powerful. I just invite everyone to put your hands like this together, and then also just put it on your heart and just kind of take in some of that, just that vibration of love and loving the kid inside of you, that little kid inside of you. Maybe you didn't have someone in your life like Rita, but you could be that person right now for you. Two things I want to share. First of all, about Joseph and Susan. For those that were in Ashland, you saw this amazing creation that Joseph talk about. It's not what you do, but how much love you put into what you do. This is amazing. And the whole story I won't share right now because time is a little short, but at some point. But the fun thing is that he found a tuning fork. Joseph, can you remind me, is it 538 hertz? That's
528,
five.
500. It's actually printed on the side of that in case you ever forget.
Oh, that's awesome. You made my life easier. 528. So it's known as the vibration of love. And he like was really thinking about how do you craft this, and on the top it has a rose quartz crystal as the heart. And then when you do this thing, it's so awesome. So much love put into that brings me so much joy. And then when you're talking about kids, Rita, my sister, she actually taught at a daycare care for kids for a long time, and I remember the nervousness of lots of the kids. Actually, Poonam is just walking past right now. You know, she regresses people back to when there's some challenge in their life, and it's amazing how many of the challenges were in the backseat of the car of their parents, and their parents are arguing about something or talking about how they don't like work, and then somehow it goes inside of the kids, you know. And so, how powerful it is that you're creating an environment of so much love. And then the kids, they definitely show it. A lot of the kids, when they're dropped off at daycare, they'll be holding back and scared and crying. Their parents are leaving. There's one little kid named Isaiah. He's a mix. His parents were from two different countries, and such a beautiful mixed kid. And he'd walk in, he'd throw his hands in the air. He'd say, "Isaiah is here. Give me some hugs." And that's how he would enter the daycare every time. I thought, wow, that's how we can kind of love ourselves, you know. So beautiful. Thank you, Rita. So beautiful for sharing. Someone else had their hand raised, and I was gonna call on them, but now I know Shifra, but there was someone right before you that I was gonna call on. Let's see who it was. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. Alex, so good to see you. Oh man, I love scrolling through the faces and seeing everyone here. Amazing. Harvey, so good to see you. Oh, Noemi, it was you. Would you like to share, Noemi? And
Yes,
Levi.
hi. Hello, hello
Brother.
everyone. Thank you. I would like to share a story. I used to work in a German foundation here in Cuernavaca, and it was a disability foundation. And before they closed our office, because they were going to close it here, and it was going to be in other country. So they send the accountant. I am accountant also, but they send the accountant and myself to that trip to meet the project, to see what they do with deaf kids, deaf kids and blind kids, and all the kind of projects they send us as a gift to see those projects. So it was just the best gift I ever had in my life, because we got there to share with kids, and it was like a very poor kids, and they took us to one place where this kid, she had a food problem, but she didn't want to get surgery because she was thinking about, if she got surgery, who was going to take care of the little brothers and sisters, so she was putting herself first, instead of she was thinking about who's going to take care of her, the little ones, because her mom was working. So, but that is a part of the story. But the main story is that one of those places we went, we met a lot of kids, beautiful kids. It was an amazing gift for me. But one of those places, it was a blind little girl that we had to go like downhill, like walking, and I had a surgery on my foot, and so I had to walk with careful and all that.
Oh, Noemi had paused. Is it just me? All right, Noemi, it seems like the connection is a little bit coming in and out. I love that you're joining us from Mexico. Actually, Alex, this is the person who heard the TV show that you did and sent that beautiful comment. So if anyone's on the newsletter, Noemi is the one who.
That's
oh,
me.
Can you hear me, Noemi?
That's me. Yes, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I just cut out for a little bit, so then I was introducing you to everyone. And actually, Alex Crenshaw, who's hosting the TV show, is on this call right now too. So just making that connection.
Yes, that's another person that I want to get recognition for, because he had taught me a lot. Really, I really thank him for meeting him, and to the universe to meet him, because he had taught me a lot. Thank you, Alex. Here. But well, to finish my story quick. So after we've been with her, listening to, she was a blind girl, but she used to learn the books from just listening to them. And she was telling us the whole book, like point, commas, and all that. But the most beautiful thing is that we were just leaving to have lunch, and the family had cooked us the most delicious vegetable soup for us. You know, they invited us, and they were poor. I mean, they were very poor, and they gave us what they had. And they make tortillas or whatever it's called over there in Guatemala. And it was just a beautiful gift for us that they invited us to eat what they were eating, but it was the most delicious vegetable soup that I ever had. So I just wanted to share that. You know, people that don't have not much to give, and they were giving us. You know.
Yeah, thank you, gracias, I should say. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love that this is an international call. We actually have people joining from all over the world. And I just want to say thank you for being here. It's every time you come, you add something. And so welcome those who are coming back. Welcome those who are new. I also saw Kathy, you're new. I also want to welcome you. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm curious at the end of this call what you'll feel like, what love taught you. If you feel comfortable, maybe I'll ask you at the end of this call. Shifra, so I'm talking about love guiding. Alex being guided to bring us on that Mexican TV show, and then Naomi, you watching that in the comment. If you're not on the newsletter, get on the newsletter. We can put in the chat. But she was in the newsletter and saw it. We put the quote of what she said, which touched my heart so much. The synchronicity of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Something else we've talked in the relationship in the newsletter about was the beautiful fundraising events for the orphan kids in Nepal that Renara was doing, and that Shifra and Renara did in Boston area. And Shifra, can you unmute yourself? Something you want to share about the quote and about this topic?
it was really wonderful. I mean, it just came together, and it was just beautiful to see Renara playing the piano. Just, you know, she's in such a reverie of delight and peace and joy. It was really beautiful to watch her. I felt like I could have watched her play for like 5 hours. It was just so beautiful. And I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. Leonore surprised me and came, you know, when Hope and Jim in their car, they came and they picked me up and took me over to the church, and we got up, you know, Leonore's beautiful leaf that was really huge, and that was the real size of a print of a leaf. And I don't know, the janitor was a really, really nice man, the custodian, and I don't know, it was lovely. I love doing poetry. It was just a lot of fun, and I don't know, it's a great cause, and it just felt wonderful, you know, to be doing the thing that I love to do, poetry, and it was just a beautiful experience, and it was beautiful. We were both wearing butterflies. I put a butterfly on, and Renara had a butterfly on right at our hearts. Yeah, it was really cool. And a lot of people, you know, it wasn't a huge concert, but you know, a number of people came, and I don't know, it was so much fun, and just so full of love. And my friend Donna, she had no idea of like what kind of a musician Renara was, and she was like, "Oh, if she comes again, I'll really." I mean, I told people to put it in their networks, but she knows a lot of people, and so next time she just didn't have any idea of like what kind of incredible music it was going to be. And it was a nice contrast because my poems are sort of, you know, they were long and wonderful and wordy, and it's instrumental music, so it was just a really nice it was just a nice combo. It was a beautiful combination, so it was fun. It did feel full of love, and yeah, it was great. It was really great. Yeah,
I see Renara is on the call too. Renara, I don't know if you can speak. I don't know if you're in a position to. I'm going to unmute you just to see if it's possible. Anything you want to share about the concert series and the you may be not in a position where you can talk, which is okay as well. But just want to say.
No, I don't know if you hear me. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Sorry, I'm behind the camera. I'm in Toronto, in Canada. It was absolutely amazing experience, actually, in 3 different cities. And I loved so much Jaina's presence, and Michael Smith was sunny in Salt Lake City. And in Boston, it was very special. Yes, it was very small venue, but in this small venue, we were so together. Hope, Mary, me, Shifra, Jewel. So, I mean, I would like to repeat this experience for kids and for Bridge Project more and more, because I just have this conviction and I trust, and 1000% exactly it is about the phrase you started this call. It doesn't matter how much we're doing, where we're doing, but how much love we put inside. And it is inevitable ripple effect in the world, in the universe. And it can open different doors, even the doors we even don't imagine. Just every love from coming from heart will open the 1,000 doors from each of us, because the expansion, there is no limit, and we are one. So when I heal myself, I heal the world. When I love myself, I love the world. When I put this love in the music, it's going absolutely everywhere, no borders. So I'm happy to experience that, and it's the kids probably my biggest motivation today. Yeah, thank you.
It's sweet. I just want to come back to the kids as well. You know, here's a picture with Kriti and also Neha, and then this is some of the little guys. This is Amit, is the little guy laughing, and Lakshmi, and then Tilak. There's a really sweet video where Tilak was sharing with Lakshmi how to do something on the computer. And there's this moment where little Lakshmi, it's her first time using a computer, in which she was able to do something. She just laughed with so much joy. If I had a really easy access, I would share it for you. But the amount of love that you put into the poetry and the concert and all the things that you've done has really touched my heart. And I know it makes an impact. Dr. Ram, he would say there's no wasted effort. And anytime you put love into the world, the ripples go out indefinitely. Now, coming back to this call, thank you so much, everyone, for who shared. And I know many other people probably want to share. We'll go into breakout rooms for those that want to continue on the call. For those that don't, we invite you to go out in nature or meditate or journal. You know, these ancient secrets of a master healer. Why is love such a big part of it? You know, Dr. Ram, he said, actually, love is the biggest healer. And one of the most, sometimes it's easy for people I see on this call to love other people, but sometimes you forget to love yourself. Actually, you forget to do things in a way that nourishes you. I see it happen all the time, even when I'm working with people who are head of business or Hollywood stars or Bollywood stars or whoever Dr. Ram and I would talk to, heads of state. Or sometimes we put so much effort into something, it depletes us. You know, what happens is we end up getting burned out. And even service can be that way. We can serve so much that it burns us out. And in that particular case, I would say, remember this quote, from today. It's not about how much you do. So it's not about the quantity of things you're doing, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. And to remember to love yourself. Remember to nourish yourself. Remember, even when you're serving others, make sure that you're also taking care of yourself. So there's more of you. You're giving, like how Dr. Stevens says, give from the abundance, be so full. Instead of selfless, be so full. Give from the abundance of love pouring through you. And by following the ancient secrets, part of why we're offering actually the guided detox on July 21st, either for those that want to join the 7-day one together with us. I'm doing it myself, actually, or the 30-day one. It's just so that way you can put more love into yourself. So you have energy and vibrant health and unlimited energy, peace of mind for all the things that you want to do. There's a lot of other announcements too that I'm probably forgetting. Cornelia or Jana or anyone remember any announcements I'm forgetting? I don't know. Anyway, main thing is that I'm just glad that you're here. Oh yeah, I do know one other announcement. So every week for the next little bit, we're just taking one quote from the book and actually using that as the theme. So the theme for next week, I want you to pay attention to this week, is actually from page 67 of the book. It's a Wendell Berry quote. It says, "When we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And when we no longer know which way to go, we have begun our real journey." So this is something to consider this week. It's really powerful, actually. There's a lot of secrets inside of here that hopefully will unlock powerful healing. Last Sunday's call was so much about receiving, with Kristen sharing and Ken sharing so powerfully, and all the stories that were shared about the Bridge program. Sometimes we're thinking about giving, but it's such a beautiful space to receive love. And I felt it so much on the call today. And that's why we have these calls, is so you can actually get to that place of feeling that vibration and then making choices from that place. So much more resourcefulness and power and healing possibilities and contagious love comes from that space. So for this next week, when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. This is on page 67, chapter 5. And when we will no longer know which way to go, we have begun our real journey. I believe the world will be full of so many changes, more than ever, more than the last 4 years are coming. And so what can we use to guide us in that space of our real work and our real journey? And Dr. Trump says anything is a medicine or poison depending on how we use it, even our life's work, if it's aligned with our purpose. So in this space, I just want to say today, thank you so much. We're going to go into a breakout room for those that want to stay. For everyone else who's ready to go be in nature or meditate or journal, we just have a tradition for those who are new. Oh, actually, Kathy, I don't know. I was going to ask you if you wanted to share what love taught you on the call today. No pressure, but just curious if you have something in particular that you want to share about what love taught you on the call today. Anything you want to share, Kathy, in this space? And if not, no problem. I just
It's okay. I put something in the chat.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. Let me read it.
Only in that, yeah, I just, in fact, on my walk this morning at 6 a.m., it was just so beautiful. And all I was feeling was, I want to expand love and joy as I walk, and then I want to bring it back into the house and spread it. But what I wanted to share that I put in the chat was when I had some somatic experiencing sessions, the person who was talking to me said, whenever someone shares love with you, whether it's email, whether it's text, whenever it is, be with it, sit with it, feel it. Because so often, like, I would get something in an email that felt so good, it was so beautiful from a friend, and I'd go on to the next email. I'd say, oh, thank you, and feel good, and go on. Now, when love is shared, I sit with it, and I feel it, and it just feels like it expands then out into the world, right? Because love is so, well, it's giving me the chills right now as I say it. Love is just so beautiful.
Wow, I definitely know that I needed to hear that. Anyone else feel like when you're given a compliment or you're in a space of love, sometimes we rush out of it too quick, but it's so good to anchor that in.
Yeah.
And my brother said, when you find yourself in a magic moment, don't rush out of it. When you find yourself presence or the expression or the experience of love, why not take it in even that much deeper? And so I'm taking it in this call. Kathy, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you can join next week. Also, Jerry Lynn, so glad you joined today. It's so important as a practitioner to have this being, and all those who are new or coming back, I hope you can join us next week. Just entering this space, even for whatever time that you can, gives a chance to be in that vibration of love, which actually is very healing and contagious. And so one way to anchor this love in that we felt on the call today, I don't know how to click to unmute everyone, but we're going to put our hands together like this and just say, I love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm
I
with
love
you.
you and I am with
Love
you.
you and I'm
I love
with
you
I love
and
you.
I'm
you
with
and I
you.
am with
I
you.
love you and I'm
And
with
I am
you.
with you.
Love you and
I
I'm
love
with
you.
you.
Love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm
I'm
with you. I
with
love you and I'm
Love
with
you.
you.
you
I
and I
love
am
you and
with
Love
I'm
you
you.
and
with
I'm
you. I
with
love you and I'm
you.
with
I
you. I
love
love you
you
and I'm
and
with
I
you.
am
I
with
You
love
and
you.
you
I'm
and I'm
with
with you.
I
you.
love you
Love
and
you and
I
I'm
love
with
you and I am with
you.
you.
Love you and I'm with
Love you and I'm
you.
with
That's
you.
so beautiful.
And I'm with
Let's see.
you.
Love you and I am